Hey guys, welcome back to the fourth and final installment of Matchbox Mac Mobile Action Command. Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. This is Paul Knapp coming to you not from the man cave, but from the man cave storage room, another one. And for this final episode of my review on Mac, the Mobile Action Command, we're going to take a closer look at the two larger playsets that they came out with. One is the Rescue Center, and the first one we're going to take a look at is the Commando Challenge. So stick around. Now before I start my review on the two playsets, I just wanted to catch you up on what I've been doing with the other reviews that I've been showing you guys on my channel. These are the smaller vehicles, and you can see what I've done is refurbished almost all of them. Now I'm still waiting on some 3D parts from my buddy Hector Ortiz. Again, some searchlights here. He's also working on getting me a pair of skis. Jim Egner, as you know, he does these crane systems, so I'm still waiting on a few of those. But I tried to do 4 of each vehicles that came out. I've washed and cleaned all these. I put new decals on, as you can see. I've also asked Hector Ortiz to come up with some other parts for me, like some possible stretchers that are missing from some of these. You can see I put new cords on all these with the hooks. Still waiting for some more hooks to come in so I can finish these. This is the I went with a bright yellow string, which I thought was heavier. It looked more like rope, and thought it would just make it pop a little bit better than just the white string that was used. Mr. Jim Egner is making me one more of these flip-ups, as you saw from the other video that I made. But that's where I am right now with this stuff. Now when it came to the figures, again, I washed and cleaned all these. And as I was taking the decals off of the smaller figures, you know the smaller figures had that large decal going across, unlike the larger figures, which had this nice printed on the chest. I noticed, if I looked very closely, I'm not sure how this is going to show up on camera, but yeah, it's not showing up on camera, but there was a upside down V, or triangle if you will, on all the chests of these figures, and it was part of the plastic itself. So I'm wondering if at one time that was supposed to be their logo, and then they decided to go with a decal. So as I cleaned them up and peeled off all the decals, I said, you know what? I think just painting that little triangle, it looks much better than having that giant sticker going across. So I painted the darker uniforms white, as you can see here. I thought that looked much neater, and the lighter uniforms I painted with a black upside down triangle here. So yeah, for the smaller figures, that's how they're going to look. And the larger figures, again, I just had to clean these. Really, there's nothing more you needed to do. Even their boots and hands, the paint job is still pretty good on most of these. So that kind of catches you up on where I am with the other items. So let's take a look at the Commando Challenge, first of the larger playsets. Now here is one of the advertisements for all of the accessories and figures, including the playset mountain. Now in this you do not see the Commando Challenge. I'm not sure why, but that's not in here. And this was a promo from Plaid Stallions. I want to thank him, as always. He's been a great resource when it came to doing stuff on the Matchbox Mobile Action Command sets. And there's one other set that is not shown here, and I'm going to post that. It's called the Flying Wing, I believe, and I'll post a picture of that as well. But yeah, I'm wondering why, of all their toys and accessories, they failed to add those two in some of their promos. Now once again from Plaid Stallions, this is a promo picture of the Command Challenge, and you can see back in the day it was $9.98. Came from the Spiegel catalog. Would have been one of my favorite play sets if I had it, if I knew it existed back in the day. Before we break this set out, let's take a closer look at this box art. You just don't see this anymore. This was from 1976. Again, Matchbox Corporation. Of course, you always had the kid from the 70s with the 70s haircut playing with his playset. And this set, it did come with one vehicle. So I'm assuming it was this one. It does show the helicopter in the background with the Jeep. It says here this set is a complete training base that prepares Mac commandos for any unknown danger or emergency. Some of the highlights. You can see the hazardous spin fall, the sensational parachute jump, the dangerous skydive, or the risky chair slide. I'm hoping I have all this in there. I bought this on eBay and I've never put it together, so that is the front. Let me turn it around for you. It's a duplicate picture just with the print, no color. Again, Matchbox. I did see on top here, as I was turning this around, it shows a picture of the kit again, but it has everything listed that's in there. I don't have the original directions for this, so I'm just going to go by what it's saying here. It says comes complete with 5 Mac commandos, a mobile Mac emergency unit, first aid station, operating guardhouse, a full color background scene, an 18 by 22 play setting. So looking forward to breaking this out for the very first time and hoping all the pieces are there. Alright, so after just dumping this out and taking a look, we got 3 figures, 3 dressed in green, so we're missing 2 figures. That's easy to replace. And you can see the older decals, how they're on there. And here you can probably see, focus in on that triangle I was telling you about. So they put the decal below those triangles, but I seriously think those triangles were meant to be some type of logo, possibly. So I'm going to clean these 3 figures up and take those decals off. But in the meantime, it did come with some stickers that weren't applied yet. And looks like a flag. Lots of rope here. But the best bonus here is it had a green helicopter, which is very hard to find. These were only sold, I believe, overseas in Europe. So it is the Commando one, which is very cool. I'm going to clean this up, change out that rope, and yeah, we're going to get a decent figure in there. So in the meantime, without any directions here, we're going to try to rebuild this thing. Okay, so without having any directions, all I am using is the picture on the box, or actually this one looks a little better from Plaid Stallions. I get a closer look at this stuff. It appears, I'm setting this up correctly, and the backdrop just kind of sets on there. First challenge I'm coming up to are these holes, which is where all the equipment is outlined and supposed to set. However, I'm assuming these little clips have to go from underneath up, so they, you know, would set on those. They can't go from the top down because they don't hardly fit in the hole itself. It was definitely coming from the bottom up. However, they don't really they don't really stay in place. They're not, I don't know if the board is warped so much that they won't stay in there, but just trying to fit them in the hole. They fit perfectly, but they just fall right back out. So I don't know if I should tape them from the bottom up. But another problem I'm having is there are only 11 of these, and I'm counting 18 holes for equipment to be plugged into. So I'm either going to have to figure out something for these guys, get something close, maybe at Lowe's. Home Depot might have something, or make send one to Jim Egner or Hector and see if they can duplicate that. But that's my first issue. Maybe I can get away with just putting 1 or 2 of these on each one instead of hitting all the holes here and use up the 11 that I have. So I'm going to try to set this up without putting them on at all and see how that goes, and then work from there. Alright, so after further review, I have all the pieces, I believe. There's only one piece I'm not familiar with. I can't see this on any of the pieces here, but again, I'm just using this picture and the box. It's not showing this piece anywhere. These other pieces went up pretty easy. They're all just folded cardboard like most toys were back in the 70s. So we are short on some pegs. Not that we really need them though. Now this piece here, I'm assuming this is what they're calling the hazardous spinfall. From what I can gather is you just tie a rope string to the top of this, and the bottom connects to this piece, and this guy just spins around in circles till he hits the ground, I guess. Because I don't see the rope attached anywhere, so they must have somehow did that for the photo shoot, because it's the same way here on the picture. He's just hanging out in the middle of nowhere, so I got to figure that one out. This definitely would be one you want to tack down if you're going to use it. But for the life of me, I can't find this piece, and I'm sure it has to do something with this ladder here that goes all the way up. This is the harness for the, they're calling the sensational parachute jump. That would be this piece, I'm assuming. And then the dangerous skyfall, I believe, is just they jump off the tower onto this cargo net. And then the risky chair slide, that would be this one. And that attaches to this side here and comes down to this winch system here. So I did have 3 pieces of rope in here. However, I think I'm just going to replace these because these all have knots in them, and I'm not sure if the lengths are accurate or not. Still haven't figured out where the decals go other than the flag. It's going to have to be retaped back on here. Alright guys, so without any figures and without any vehicles, I think I've got this thing narrowed down. I've got the strings attached, I believe, the way they're supposed to be. First one was fairly easy. It was just this pole. You wrap a bunch of string around that, enough to give you a length to the ground, and you tie this little hook onto it, and they actually hang or hold on to the ends of this and start from the top, and I guess just swing around until they hit the ground. I've worked with military obstacle courses for the last 25-30 years. I've never seen that that obstacle before. Maybe it does exist, I don't know, but it seems kind of weird. Next one up, you tie the string to this. Now this is one where you will need those orange things to keep this in place. So I put 2 in there right now. The string goes up. First it goes through the top of the chair and through the hole here, and then back down to the chair. Now what this does is allows the chair lift to slowly come down as the winch, as you allow the winch to open up. So that one's fairly simple. Now the one I'm still not sure I did it correctly by looking at the pictures, but it's the parachute drop. So you run the string through the parachute up to the top of this angle that's hanging out, and this is where that little piece came into play. I figured out it comes to the top of this, and you put it on. You run the string through or over each hole and then down this side, and you can tie it at the bottom here. I have some extra string, as the figure here shows on the box. Anyway, so this allows you to slowly lower it down, the parachute, or stop it anywhere in between if you like, till he hits the ground. So to the best of my ability, I think that's how it's supposed to work. I don't know. It might be heavier with a figure in there. We'll see. And then last, I believe this is just a jump off. There's nothing, no rope on this side at all on any of the pictures. So the figure either jumps through the hell hole here or takes a dive off the side and lands into the cargo net. So kind of a neat playset. Again, 1976 Matchbox. Lots of moving parts here. I don't want to have to restring these again. There was one part I was wondering about, was this climbing wall on the other side. It has holes in it. And I'm wondering with the figures if you're supposed to take some of these orange pegs and poke them through the back side of that so they have something to hold on to when they're climbing the wall. Something else I found interesting with the picture on the back, if you take a close look at the stretcher, you will notice at the ends of the stretcher they have this black hook thing which goes up to the hook on the helicopter. Now that would make sense. These two angles here, these two black looks like coat hangers. This way the stretcher would go up evenly. In none of my vehicles and in none of the pictures that I've seen has this, except for some overseas pictures. So I'm wondering if that is something just they did in Europe with their sets and it never made it to the American sets. But when you look at the stretchers, there's no way for a hook to hook onto the stretcher and lift it slowly up. Just for scale here, I'm showing you the medic unit and the bed that's in there. This is one of the larger figures, so you can see how probably a little big for the bed. So this was definitely planned in mind, I believe, for the all the smaller figures, the original figures when they first came out, and not the larger figures. Maybe that is why it's not in some of the earlier promos, but I'm not sure. Not a lot to find out with the Matchbox Commando challenge out there. If anybody does have the original directions, I would love to get a copy of those. Let's move on. While doing some research on the Rescue Center playset, I came across a German website that had very good pictures and also the information on how to build this. And this has nothing to do with the ladder. This has to do with the parachute. You actually put this inside the parachute, and this is the piece that the figure sits in. So we're going to go ahead and square that away, and that explains what this piece is. So it should look something like that. A little basket to put the figure in. And if I was paying attention to the box, well, there it is right there. In addition to finding the original instructions from that German website and able to print those out so I know how to string these, I also found out that the green vehicles were most likely only issued in America because this Commando Challenge was only issued in America. No other country had this set. So if you have the recon vehicle or the medic, military medic, or the military air search unit, which is a green helicopter, or the military frogman unit, these were most likely made just for this set. Probably only issued in America. I'm not totally sure about that, but I'm assuming a lot of the green colored vehicles were made for this recon commando type challenge set. You don't see many of the green colored vehicles in the rescue commercials or advertisements. So I think I'm going to end this video here just on the Commando Challenge, as opposed to having both this and the Rescue Center as one video. I'm going to make a separate video just on the Rescue Center because I'm still missing some decals and some pieces from that. I want to make sure it's complete before I put that video together. So what I'm going to do is, like some other people do, I'm going to set up a little playset here. I'm going to add the vehicles and figures to this, and hopefully you guys will enjoy that. There is one supplement to this that I want to throw in a couple clips on. It's the flying wing, and I'll post those pictures for you to see. That is one playset vehicle that I do not have. I've never seen it on eBay. I've never seen it in the wild. So if anybody has one, please share it and post some pictures. Let me know that it does exist. But in the meantime, we are going to concentrate on setting up a little diorama here for you on the Commando challenge. And I hope you guys enjoy this. Thanks for watching. And as always, keep on collecting.